All right, what's up, everyone? BallietBran here for the weekly stream, as always. Yeah, thanks everyone for being here. We already have a lot of people been waiting, and I'm really happy to do this stream. Right, Richard has not only made a book, Sci-Vive, How to Fix the World, but he's also made a life-changing product, which is what I kind of want to at least have as some of the focus for this stream. So let me just say what's up to some of the people in the chat. There's already 70 people watching, so let me just get into it. So thank you, Super Kitty, Hex Hodl, Hexdeck. For anyone that didn't see the stream that Hexdeck and I did on Friday, just a couple of days ago, go back and watch it if you want to. One of the people, actually a couple of people had told me that not only was it a great stream, but one of them said it was the best one they thought I had ever done. So for whatever that's worth, the audience always has great input. And like I said, I'm happy to be able to give back and hopefully answer any questions. If anyone has any questions, we'll definitely try and answer them. So Tyler McDonald, how's it going? Crypto CPT. Let's see that person. Exercise instructor. I think that's really cool. I saw him in my comments, and not only does Hex help you with your wealth, but your health is important too. And that was something I had kind of neglected a little bit for the past year. And anyways, getting back into it, it's really something that's important to take care of and keep going. So hope everyone has a great Sunday. Stream with Richard Hart. No, this is just kind of like a dedication. I mean, Richard just had a little tour in I think it was Warsaw, Poland. But anyways, we'll get into that in just a couple of minutes. Let me go over the other comments, and then I'll do the stream, and we'll kind of get into it. Richard Hart's in Europe, world tour. That would be awesome. I would love to meet him, right? Been following him since early 2017. So what's up, Rick Schmitz, Hex McKenzie, Chris. Let's see, Crypto King. This guy is the, we call him the producer, right? He's always helping out and helping schedule important people outside of the crypto community. Jeremy, your weekly crew, Russ. All right, and then we'll start the intro now, and then we'll get into it. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Got an 88-second intro, and I'll see y'all in just a minute.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like. Be sure to share. Be sure to comment. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.
Cool. So yeah, once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll just get right into it, right? So the what is the title of this? Let's see here. So Richard Hart, the world's greatest man. Why do I say that? So not only is Hex designed to be the most highest appreciating asset in the world, but like I mentioned earlier, Richard's written a book on Sci-Vive, surviving life and optimizing life, which we could all use, especially in today's day and age. And then also How to Fix the World. And then also just doing live streams, right? Since I found him early 2017, around March, I had seen his early videos that were not streams, but were self-help, right? how to stop gambling, trading, things like this. Because as me and Hextech talked on Friday, even the people that are successful in trading, it's still detrimental because not only are they taking someone else's money, which the other person loses, but the actual trading itself is not good on the psychology, and generally it leads to bad habits, waking up in the middle of the night, things like this, especially with crypto since it's 24/7 and never sleeps. So Richard, he's always been a fan of educating people and teaching them how to live their best life. So without further ado, let me get into it. So let's see. So Richard, he like I said, he just visited Poland. Let me pull up his Twitter real quick. Okay, so y'all can see the screen. Perfect. Let's get into it. So yeah, this was yesterday, right? Meet at 9 p.m. The Hotel Long Bar. This is his Ferrari that he had bought, and the photo here is not the place that they actually met up, right? It was just a showing off his Ferrari. But anyway, so he announces that he's in Warsaw, Poland, and obviously with the Hex Ferrari. And then he's asking if he should do a Hex meetup. I think this is really cool, right? Because not only has Richard been successful and retired since he was 23, but he didn't have to get back, right? He doesn't have to get back. He doesn't have to do any of this. If you look at other billionaires in the world, a lot of them might not have your best intention and wellness in mind for the little person. And Richard is the opposite of that, right? He does have the best intention. So he's talking about the meetup here, and cool photo, right? It's awesome to see Richard getting out and enjoying life, and also seeing some Hexicans. So he also has a Instagram right here that y'all can see. But anyway, so we'll get into it. So young Hexican 13 that he had met had given him this item. That's really cool. And then this is the photo that I did the thumbnail with. So you can see, possibly the bodyguards in there and the other Hexicans as well in Poland. And they're just having a good time. Richard's in the center, and behind him it looks like some sort of giant chandelier or diamond thing. So I think that's really cool. And then we'll get to the other part in just a minute. But how cool is that, right? How cool is it that he is taking the time to kind of travel and promote Hex and also meet up with people. So is it just me, or is the video messed up? Hopefully it's just you. If the video is messed up, please let me know. I might need to just switch over to the hardwire. I'm not sure. Someone will have to let me know. Let me scroll all the way down. Actually, we can't see you or hear you. Okay. Let's see. Great to catch Bran live again. Caught you live. Use 5G. Okay, give me just a second. Let me just switch over to the other network. Sorry about that. I was on a different connection. 1 second here. Okay, 1 second. What's going on? You know what? Yeah, give me a minute, right? It's gonna take a second to kind of troubleshoot this live. I haven't really had this happen, but let me get into it. Let's see. Hex Emperor says looks fine with his camera small. Maybe his camera is lacking. Yeah, I really think it's just the Wi-Fi. I think my computer updated to the to a different network. So hopefully it's bearable right now. Let me just see on my phone if it's okay, because otherwise we're gonna troubleshoot this real quick and just make sure everything looks good. 1 second, y'all. 1 second here. Okay, it does look like it is kind of lagging. Give me just a second. Let me do that intro, that 88-second intro again real quick. I want everyone to have a good experience, and I don't want that to distract me and get me self-conscious. So let me do that intro real quick, and then I'll try and switch the Wi-Fi back over to the Ethernet. So 1 second. Thank you for the comment. That's good to know, right? Streaming is always live, and there's always something that goes on. So give me 88 seconds to hopefully try and fix this. All right, 1 second here.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey.
I think I might have fixed it. That's why I'm cutting it off early. It looks like I am on the hard wire again. So sorry for kind of cutting that off early, but let's just make sure the video is more than bearable, right? I don't want a bad experience for everyone. So anyways, Alex, while I hear the feedback, Alex Anders says, the weekend gain was literally amazing. Yeah, I'm looking at the weekly chart right here, and we're up 18.83%. That is really great. And how cool is that, right? Let's see. Someone says, Bronco Adventures. I love this intro. I can watch it over and over all day. Okay, it's still fuzzy. Okay, let me go into the setting here real quick in StreamYard and just look at the camera real quick here. Let me maybe bog it down to 720 instead of 1080. Someone can maybe let me know if that is, yeah, video is still blurry. Okay, let me refresh this. All right, 1 second, troubleshooting while we have like 140 people. So give me just a minute. I promise we'll get this going good for everyone where it's not too unbearable. Okay, I'm hoping it's better. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to kind of go with the punches and really just figure that out for the next time. I'm not at the girlfriend's place. We're here in the other place. So at least we can hear you. So it's cool. Yeah, it's definitely something that I want you guys to have a good experience. But if anyone has any questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to help out. Let's see. It went bad again. Okay, no worries. I mean, I'm not going to really worry about it right now. There's nothing I can do to, yeah, I'm not going to power cycle the modem. That would literally just restart the stream. I don't, we're not going to do that. So I guess we're just going to roll with the punches. If people want to leave, that's fine. We'll figure it out for next time. So let's see. Sucker punch the like button. Okay. All right. Let's get into it once again. Sorry about that, but not much better. Okay. Yeah. I guess we'll kind of just roll with the punches here. So, anyways, yeah. How cool is it that Richard is traveling around the, around the country of Poland and talking about Hex and visiting people. As someone that's followed him since 2017. I would love to meet him, right? I've never met him, have streamed with him a couple of times, and would really like to not only get a one-on-one stream with him, but also be able to meet him in person. So let's actually go back to the share screen, and we'll kind of see. Let's see here. We'll see the above tweet that I didn't share yet. So because it's also relative to what I'm talking about. So. Dolomite, he shares the photo that Alan Bittner and Patrick Hex Lion are doing. They're, for people that don't know, they're traveling around the 48 states, and they're doing Hex meetups and they're educating people. And I think that that's really cool because it shows that not only are they dedicated, but that they're giving back in that way as well. So here's a couple of photos. So this is the, I think it's the Audi R8, I believe. And you can see it's got the hex-colored wrap. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's got the hex-colored wrap. It's got A-Bit and, like I said, Hex Lion. And how cool is it? This car not only is decently expensive and flashy, but now it's even more flashy with all of the the beautiful wrap job. So that's really cool. You're still handsome, even with the fuzzy screen. Yeah, thanks. Would love to not have to be fuzzy, but no worries. Things happen sometimes. Gotta roll with the punches, as they say. So then we got Discourse Syndicate. The engine's in the back, and actually on Cabana Crypto's channel, he had Alan and Patrick kind of showing off the car and the sound of it. So I thought that was pretty cool. The engine sounds amazing. And once again, it's to represent Hex and to educate others. So that's really what people can do to help the Hex price grow, right? People ask Richard, what can we do to make the Hex price go up? Things like that. And Richard has always said outbound messaging is the key for that. Let's see. Maybe your girlfriend is torrenting the hell out of your wireless. Yeah, no, I'm at my place, not hers. But anyways, it's all good. No worries. So yeah, they're going to be coming to a place hopefully near you soon. I'll link the actual article maybe a little bit later on in the stream where you can see where the actual meetup is. It's on I believe freedomtv.info and abit_hex. And like I said, they're going to be in person in a place near you. So if you haven't met any of the Hexicans yet, or PULSECHANs, or people that share like-minded thoughts, you can do that now. So what a cool opportunity, not only to be able to participate in streams and in the comments, things like that. That's all digital, right? Some people could be perceiving things like that, but in person, the experience is really much better, and it's a lot more genuine. So we'll be talking about the Hex Vegas conference that is March 6th through the 9th. I already got my ticket there. And once again, that'll be the second Vegas conference that Maddie has hosted. So this is the PULSECHAIN wrap. It's another Audi, I believe. And once again, you can see it's really flashy. I mean, if I saw this driving on the street, I would definitely turn my head, I should say, and see what the heck is this, right? You don't see cars normally like this. Most cars just have a stock paint job. And then once again, it's talking about Hex, PULSECHAIN, and then I think freedomtv.info. And then I think there was one more. Okay, no, yeah. So that was it for that part. We'll get back into the comments and kind of just, like I said, roll with the punches. Thanks everyone for bearing with everything. So let's stop the screen share here. Renope says BallietBran is a solid dude. Love the community. Yeah, thank you. It's all to kind of give back to something that's given me so much, right? And help me retire early and things like that. So if I can help educate others, then that's definitely something that I'm going to do and that I want to do, right? And it's actually really cool because sometimes you hear it a lot and you wonder like, man, I've helped a lot of people and changed a lot of people's lives. And then I kind of had like the light bulb moment where it's like, let me start documenting this, or at least like screenshot it if I see someone, giving thanks and things like that. And the folder is adding up really quickly. So I think that that's really cool. Like I said, to just be able to help educate. So let's get into and I'll scroll up in just a bit, but let me get into the comments here. So Hex Gran Reggie says, feeling a bit out of the loop. I just onboarded 2 Hexicans. Should I recommend invest it all in Hex or save some to buy Pulse now that it's so close? I know not financial advice. I mean, if it were me, I really agree with what Funding Jim has said, right? Another great Hexican. He's got Gifting You Hex channel, and then and Funding Jim, a wonderful Hexican, like I said, and also has a lot of information on real estate and finance and stuff. But one thing that he said, which is why I mentioned that, is when you have capital that's dormant, it's not really doing anything for you, and you're actually being diluted, right? Because the price of Hex or things like that, they're not really working for you. If I was in their situation, I personally would probably just be putting it all in Hex right now, because that's the only thing that when you compare Hex and Pulse, that is actually existing. And I would rather have the Hex, whether it's staked or liquid or a portion of either. I would rather have that working for me now than not have not have it be working and then try and buy some Pulse later. Because what you're going to be guaranteed is the duplicate copy. And so once that happens, maybe you can make the change to PULSECHAIN. Once they launch it, maybe you can put some of it into the bridge. Crypto CPT. I had a chance to meet them in RG Tuesday in Riverside. Great work. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, so I'll definitely be there at the Seattle meetup. I'm not sure where at specifically. They're definitely kind of pending, I think, on the details with that. But I believe it's going to be October 3rd from what they've mentioned. So really looking forward to that. I've already met a handful of Hexicans, and especially in Vegas and things like that. But when it's more local, it's even more cool, right? Because it's just easier to accommodate. So really looking forward to that. Hey, BallietBran, how goes it, mate? Hey, doing great, man. Doing great. Definitely learning. There's always something to learn, whether it's streaming, whether it's anything, right? So constantly learning, constantly trying to progress and, just be the best version of yourself you can be. So Russ says, was Hex gate kept on Yahoo before? The market cap isn't right, but pretty cool. It's at number 3 above ADA, which is Cardano. Honestly, I don't know. I'm really not too sure about that, but I definitely concur with what you're talking about. I know that Yahoo, like the market section, the crypto section, is one thing that actually has the honest data. So it's cool to see that some people are representing it properly, because we know that websites like CoinMarketCap.com are not, and that's actually something we can get into as well. So there's been a official lawsuit that has been pretty much given to. We can actually get into it right now, but to CoinMarketCap and Binance, which is the owner of CoinMarketCap, and it's holding them liable for damages, because what they're doing is they're pretty much hypocrites, right? They're pretending that they're honest data, that you can trust them, right? That they're a reliable source, and that's what they claim and what they market and represent and advertise. But then the actual data doesn't show that that's true at all. So we can go into that. I didn't share it on Friday, the actual screen, because I didn't know if it would dox since it's a Google Drive. But I should be able to actually share it now, since I confirmed that nothing really shows up with my information. So this is the actual lawsuit itself, right? It's 44 pages. Let me just make sure everyone can see. So yeah, it's 44 pages, and it's definitely something to read into. Let me get into some of the comments kind of as I read this. So Randy says, why is Hex gate kept? Well, simply because it empowers the user, the individual, the person to be able to not only monetize time, but not have to leverage trade or use exchanges, things like this. And let's see, this person, Psychonaut, says fear. It's true, right? What it comes down to is it's just a simple projection of their insecurity of Hex being successful, and they don't want it to gain more attention and adoption. They want to push their narrative and try and suppress Hex. But the thing is just like a coiled spring, once you kind of have it so tight, it's going to eventually explode upwards and whatnot. That's similar to what Hex is. I mean, Hex is a top 3 market cap, and it's done that with all the gatekeeping that we've seen this far. Crypto 303. Hey, BallietBran, great to catch you on stream. Thanks for all you do for the community. Yeah, thank you. Greatest of all time. Awesome. So yeah, this is the lawsuit itself. Let's kind of look into it real quick. So first line is the person that is the owner, I believe, or the founder of De Villiers Law Group. And once again, you can see their company, right? And you can actually look into some of the lawsuits that they've done, because they're not just, like Kinetics mentioned, they're not just your neighborhood attorney office and things like that. They've had a lot of successful cases, and to go up against the company like this with the lawsuit, it's important that you have the right strategy and the right people that can actually facilitate that. So that's definitely what we have here. So let me just clean up something real quick in the chat. Yeah, let's not put other copycats in the chat, please. That'll pretty much get you insta banned. So I'll time you out for right now, but yeah, let's definitely not talk about things that are trying to copy Hex, right? And the cool thing, actually, because that person mentioned that, is Hex is not licensed to copy, right? The code itself you can see, but if people are actually using that code, they're gonna get sued, and it's not gonna be good for them. And we've seen other copycats in the past try and replicate what Hex has done, and you can't, right? They've all just gone down, and I think that's good because it shows that Hex really is a unique innovation. So is the community, things like that. So, anyways, this is the lawsuit right here. It's a class action lawsuit. It's being done out of Arizona, and talks about the introduction that they're not representing Hex properly, and honestly, a lot of other cryptocurrencies as well. If you go to page 3 of CoinMarketCap, the actual rankings, they're not accurate. And so when you compare it to what the actual blockchain says, it's a night and day difference. So let's see. Hexy Pulse Rica. Evening, Brand. How's it going? Identity Block. Yeah, I've streamed with Identity Block a handful of times and really like streaming with him. For people that don't know, he just got into streaming, right? He's had his channel for a while and usually did videos in Spanish, but now he's streaming, and I think that's really cool. I think he's done at least 2 that I've seen, maybe even 3. But go give him a follow, right? And we'll be streaming on his channel sometime soon, and be getting him up to speed with all of the followers, right? The biggest thing that we can do as Hexicans or people on Pulse, things like that, is not only the outbound messaging that I mentioned, but also to support the people that are making the content, doing the streams. Richard's tweets, I mean, you should be having the notification on and retweeting all of them. That's what I do across a couple of different accounts. And same thing with all the other Hexicans. We've got hexstreamers.com for those that want to find out all of the content creators. And it's awesome to see. The other thing that I'd mentioned that's really cool about Hex, and it goes to show you why it's just so much different from pretty much everything else that I've ever seen, is you've got people like myself, people like Motley, just so many people, hexologists, that are retired from it and still active in the community, trying to give back, spread value, information, and knowledge, because we understand that that's going to help people. Yeah, football screams. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm at my house here, and I've got my brother and like 3 of his friends. So you might hear some background noise, but whatever. It's just gonna have to deal with it. Let's see. Waylon says, "Good to see you. Tweeted your stream. Awesome. Thanks, man. Is there a game on? I think there is. I really don't watch sports, so they can have fun with that. So let's see. Hex price is a function of supply and demand. It really is, right? We can actually do this right now. We can go to hexdailystats.com. And this is a website that Ryan Lopez and a guy that goes by the name of like Togo on Twitter, that they created this website. And let's just take a look, right? Because I think Gerardo uses this for some of the data as well. Let's go into Hex Daily Stats. So right off the bat, not only is the URL easy to remember and is a .com domain, but we can see that Hex Daily Stats, it talks about the T-share price in dollar, the rate itself. So this is the thing right here that kind of mimics the compounding interest, and this number itself for 1 trillion shares never goes down. So I'm trying not to talk about T-shares as much anymore and just kind of refer to it as shares, because the shares are really designed to be more valuable than the Hex individually in the future. And when you really think about that, and you think about how many millions or billions or maybe even trillions that you have, that's quite a profound profound thought. And like I said, it's programmed into the code, and it's just a matter of time and everything else, virality happening, that'll come to fruition. So once again, Hex Daily Stats. Let's scroll down a little bit. And what I wanted to get into to the person's comment was the liquidity, right? So this is how much Hex is available across. I don't know if it's the actual exchanges, but I know it's across all of the automated market makers, things like Uniswap, Matcha, things like that. So we've got 58 million, almost 59 million Hex that's available. But what it comes down to is Richard talks about the minimum viable liquidity. You don't want people to be able to dump a whole bunch of Hex and get out kind of with a good deal, right? If someone's going to dump a whole bunch, you want it to lower the price. If someone's going to buy with a decent amount of capital, you want that to bump up the price. So the amount of liquidity is pretty much set right now for the maximum price growth. So how cool is that? Let's get into some of the comments here. So once again, thanks everyone for staying through on this stream that's like 8-bit. We'll fix that for the next time. But this person says, I believe Hex is a safe haven in crypto. Finally, I always win. Well, not only is it a safe haven in crypto, but in the traditional finance system too. I mean, you look at Social Security, things like that. You think my generation's ever going to see Social Security, but we pay into it? No, I mean that's not going to happen. And you look at 401ks, they're not really sustainable for what they were designed to do. And things like Hex, like I said, they'll be able to compete with traditional bonds, stocks, certificates of deposit. What it comes down to is the price appreciation. Since it's so fast and also pays you an interest, people will eventually hear about it, find out about it, and want to put their capital where it's best treated. And why wouldn't you want to put your dollar or your fiat into something that was the top performing asset literally in the world of the year 2020 and currently 2021? I mean, there's really no reason, in my opinion, just my opinion, but to put it anywhere else. And not to mention, if you're not in Hex, or even if you are, when PULSECHAIN does come out, there's going to be a snapshot of the whole system state of Ethereum at that time, and all of the Hex, whether it's staked or liquid, things like that, are going to get copied over. So you're going to get two for the price of one. And for anyone that was there for Big Payday, which was November 9th, 2020, that had a really decent payout as well. But this is a guaranteed duplicate, so guaranteed 100% more. So I think it's a really good opportunity for pretty much for everyone. I mean, it's awesome to think that not only are we as stakers earning interest every single day, but to think that that's going to get copied over to a network that's going to be cheaper to end the stakes. It's going to be more reliable, right? The gas fees never should have gotten this high. When Hex first started, I remember the fees were like a penny. Let's see. Waylon says, if you ever want someone to join, you want to stream and give a perspective for someone that's new, from someone that's new, let me know. Yeah, you're definitely welcome to come on. I got a big list of people to do some streams with. Like I mentioned, Identity Block was one of them. I know Hextech and myself, we mentioned on Friday that he does have an extra ticket to the Hex Vegas conference. And he did ask Maddie if we can give that away, since obviously it's extra. And we're going to be doing that. What I really want to do, though, first is kind of look into how to give it away, right? What's the best way that we can let people all have like a fair shot, and kind of just be the most fair. So we're going to be doing that. If anyone has any recommendations, please just let me know. That'd be really cool to get some ideas, because I've never given anything away, even though it's not me, it's Hextech. But since it's on my channel, I know that we just want to do it properly and don't want there to be any complications. So Nardo's in the house. How are you doing, man? Great to see you. I know he was in the music video, I believe, for Freddie's what was it? Furu Eulogy. So that's the other thing too, right? About the community is we've got musicians everywhere. And Freddie Quotes, he's made 3 songs, and the third one that I'm mentioning, the Furu Eulogy, that'll hopefully be released within a couple of weeks, something like that, with the music video entwined in it as well. So it's really cool to see that we really have, all things that appeal to people, not only finance and things like that, but other forms of entertainment that people can relate to. Yeah, Identity Block, definitely go check out his channel. It's a really good channel. That Amish kid, what's up, man? I know I've seen you on Twitter. He says, onboarded a 70-year-old lifelong financial planner and stockbroker last night. That's really cool. That was kind of what I was alluding to as well, right? That when people understand that, especially without counterparty, but that this kind of yield is available and that it's legitimate, right? It's not too good to be true. Then they're definitely going to be jumping in with both hands and both feet. And we saw people like Robert Kiyosaki mentioning with Dollar Cost the other day, asking him some more about Hex, and just people not only in crypto space are kind of coming around, but the traditional space too, which I think is almost easier to onboard, right? Because they don't have the bias and maximalism and toxicity that some of the crypto space comes with. Let's see. Ethan Allen, great stream, like your content. Thank you very much. Easy says Pulse will open green candle and go down after the first day and find this place and go up. I mean, I don't know where you're coming up with. I was wondering this a couple streams ago, but I don't know where you're coming up with like that kind of price. I don't think that that's really discoverable right now. So I'd be curious to see how you came up with that, and maybe you could educate me on something that I don't know, because I'd be happy to learn that if that is the case. Alexander, yo, BallietBran, what's up? Extrovert Ty, Furu Eulogy will be lit. It really will be, right? What it comes down to is, like I mentioned, not only do you have the gatekeeping of CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko and things like that, but then you've got the content creators, the traditional people, right, of the crypto space, and they've kind of had a monopoly or control on that information for a while. But once Hex came out, it was like, hey, it's our time to shine, and we're going to educate you people on how integrity is actually shown. So when I mentioned that, there's a lot of people, like just so many people, I don't want to name the names, but a lot of people that didn't mention Hex, or that blatantly did mention Hex and called it a scam and things like this. And not only did CoinMarketCap lose the opportunity for new investors to get in on such a groundbreaking opportunity, but so did those people that that slandered it and libeled it as well. So they should have just said nothing, but the people that did really screwed over their followers. And I think what that shows you is eventually the followers will realize that once Hex is listed properly, if it ever is, or once they hear about that, they'll a lot of them I've seen already are not too happy at all. And it sucks to be able to take that kind of financial gain away from someone, as opposed to teaching them about it, which is what the Hexicans are doing, and allowing the people to prosper, right? Instead of feeding people into the meat grinder and shilling you trading courses and trading groups, which, like I said, is bad for your health, or leverage trading and making a profit off that, we're trying to educate and teach people how to fish, because we understand the abundance of the smart contract itself. For people that don't know, it's designed to do what Bitcoin did and then more, which is 6.5 million X. And because Bitcoin was a penny, it was actually under a penny, but it was a penny, went up to 65,000. And Hex just hit, I believe it's like first 10,000 X liquid. So really cool to see how much meat is left on the bone. And it's really never too late. I mean, someone else said, I forget who, but they had said, like, I'm a master of buying tops, right? And anyways, I thought that was kind of funny, because even if you are buying a local top, we've seen that the price of Hex doubles. I think it's on average like 48 days, something like that. I can go back to Richard's article that he had posted, but Hex has been doubling. Let's see, it is 48 days. So how cool is that? How quick we double, and just that the programmed money is doing what it's supposed to. Snake G. Yeah, Robert brought the convo back to Hex 15 minutes after they moved past it. Yeah, it's true, right? And Funding Jim has mentioned before that wasn't the first time that he was introduced to Hex, and so it's cool that a different generation and different time and place it was mentioned as well, because it really is something that people have all heard of: Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that, but most people haven't heard about it. Steven, it's my fishing blog, says, Hex prompted me to make my first move into crypto. I guess like everyone, I wish I went bigger, but it's been a wild ride so far. Yeah, it really has. It really has. And I mean, honestly, that's why they say hindsight is 20/20. But on the stream that I did with HexDeck 16, he had mentioned that same thing, right? He put in 25% of his capital that he could have put in a lot more, right? 75% more. And like I mentioned, there's always that hindsight bias that, oh, I should have, would have, could have, but no one has that like intuition when it comes to that actual moment. So it's smart that you, at least we're kind of cautious, right? And then hopefully you made some decent gains with that, and now at least you know the power of what it's doing, and that we haven't even hit our first 100,000x yet, right? So we've got a lot more meat on the bone left, and now you can put in more if you decide to do so. Let's see, to leave a huge inheritance. Let's see, Hexy, Pulse, Rika, Brand. So glad. So glad you bring up concerns about Social Security. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I've always kind of known once I really started getting into crypto, or not crypto, but just finance in general, which was like 2016, 2017, and you want to talk about a Ponzi scheme. That's definitely one of them. Another thing that actually kind of in regard to the traditional system and things like this that a lot of people generally agree with. Richard had mentioned, so he had done a live stream with this guy named Zuby, and you can go on his Richard's Twitter and find that link. But Richard had talked about, I'm not going to go into this too much because I try not to stray away too much, but it is relative to Hex. But he talks about war that goes on, right? And that happens because the fiat itself that's being used to fund it is printed out of thin air. And not only does that cause destruction and chaos and other people to be mad at the countries, but it doesn't do anyone good besides the people doing it. And with things like Hex, if it achieves what it's designed to do, which is pretty much replace that as a currency, then they wouldn't be able to just print the Hex, right? Hex isn't something that can just have the inflation rate changed. And so the point that I was getting at is Richard had mentioned that they would have to do like a war tax, right? And just cool to think that things like Hex can not only help you financially, but just also in other ways that you never expected. You can get your time back, like by not trading, and also just interact with the community of smart people that are on a similar page of just knowledge and kind of information. Let's see, nobody knows what the price is going to open up at. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I know they've mentioned it a few times in the chat, so I'm curious to see where they came up with that, because I haven't heard anyone post any numbers besides that person. But anyways, thanks for being here. Pulse Doge says bonding curve implies a higher price than we anticipate. Let's see. This person says I came up with calculating. Okay, yeah, we'll get into that later. Let's see. GD, BallietBran rocks, thank you. I think 0.5 cent or more. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really thinking of it in price, and I don't know, maybe you shouldn't either, right? There's a huge freaking supply that is going to exist with Pulse. The way that I think of the price gains in Pulse is just like with Hex, right? Because it has a huge supply too, is the amount of X that it does. So Richard talked about with Hex, And this is why it was also so controversial, is he had said that, so Bitcoin did its 6.5 million X, but Ethereum did 10,000 X returns in, I think, 2.5 years. And so when Hex came out, Richard was like, well, this is designed better than Ethereum. It's got better game theory. Well, why can't Hex do 10,000 X in 2.5 years? So he had put that out with Hex, and that's why it got a lot of flack from people. They're like, how can you expect something to go up that quick? Little did they realize about Bitcoin. But I think we could see very similar performance with PulseChain, right? Why couldn't it do a 10,000x in 2.5 years, or have some sort of similar performance that Hex has done? I mean, it hasn't even been 2 years for Hex, and like I said, I'm pretty sure we hit that 10,000x, at least that Richard had mentioned, which is like 1,000,000%, and that's liquid, right? That's before the staking. Not to mention like the 38% APY for the average length stake. Let's see. Yoden, hey, what's up, man? I like seeing your videos. He says, I will hold Pulse for years before I sell any. Yeah, I mean, me too, right? It's really cool when you do understand investing and get in the right investments, because if you have things like Hex, and we're going to get a copy, right, that work for you, what happens is the value appreciates so much because it's an asset and everything else is inflating, right, as Hex is becoming more valuable. But you don't have to sell as much of it if you are going to ever realize profits. And when it comes down to PulseChain, not only are some people, myself included, retired already with just Hex and other things as well, and that's just taking off a little bit or things like this, but we're going to get the copy and PulseChain itself that many people, myself included, have sacrificed for. So really cool to think that there's just going to be so much abundance, and with all that money, you have to ask yourself, like, what are you going to do? Because Richard did the same thing, retired at 23, and once you have all your finance covered and say like your circle of your friends, your family, love life, all of that covered, well, then what are you going to do next with all that time? And that's why Richard talks about building a legacy. And he mentioned in the Zuby interview that I was recording before this, that what he fears is like not doing enough, because he understands obviously his capabilities and what he can do. So I think it's really cool that someone like himself is constantly striving to be a better version of himself and be able to just change the world for the better, right? Because there's a lot of people that could have his wealth and his status that would use that to suppress people even more. And he's definitely in that abundance mentality. So how do we get the copy? So every ERC20 token, I said every, but I think there's like one or two Hex copycats that won't get copied over. But yeah, so there's this thing called PulseChain. That's a fork of Ethereum that Richard Hart is doing. And what it's going to do, unlike every other Ethereum fork, is it's going to take the system state, the previous system state of Ethereum, and copy it over. That includes obviously all the coins. So that's how you get the copy. Is Hex currently is an ERC20 token. It's just a smart contract built on Ethereum. And once that snapshot for the block height and the launch of PulseChain happens, you'll be able to change to the PulseChain network and see literally everything that you had there. Like I mentioned, even the NFTs too, and the stable coins and things like that. So that's going to be really interesting to see. And once again, thanks everyone for staying with me this long. We got like 207 people, and appreciate everyone kind of bearing with me on the video. Next time we'll get it all good. But goes to show you how cool the community is, right? They want the good information, and I'm glad people are willing to listen. I want to retire when retire. Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own goals and their own. I mean, if you have a family, obviously you have more of a not liability, but more of a responsibility, things like that. And then also if you have debts or mortgage and all of that stuff, you got to kind of keep in mind what expenses you have. Agenda 69, watching this on Twitch, DLive, Twitter, and YouTube simultaneously, using those algos. Damn, that's a true supporter. That's really cool. Thank you. Let's see. Let me get some water here. Yeah, Chuck, I'll give you a call, man. I know we haven't actually ever spoke on the phone, so I'll definitely give you a call. But Hanover says, Zuby asked, what motivates you? Richard immediately replies, glory. Just wow, you gotta love it. Yeah, I know Richard, he's mentioned that maybe like once before, and it's really true. And not only does he speak a strong game, does he talk the talk, but he backs it up, right? Similar to what Kareem talks about, where we have the receipts. We have, especially with Hex, a lot of people talk about Bitcoin and how they're, or whatever cryptocurrency, how they're such a fan, but maybe they don't have all of the data to prove that. The Hexicans do have that data, right? When it comes down to being a high interest savings account, similar to maybe like a CD, things like that, something that is a yield bearing asset and that is designed to go up in value. Well, we've got the on-chain data. You can go to hex.vision, you can go to Staker.app, just so many different websites. Hex.com has, I think, a list of major websites, but the point that I'm getting at is what we're seeing is the average staking length, for the average, is going up continually. And I remember when it was like 4.5 years, and now it's at like 5.7, something like that. So the community and the people that are getting in, they're proving what they believe and what they say by staking. And we've never seen anything in history, let alone crypto, where you can lock something up for 5,555 days and be hard locked in without obviously getting a penalty if you tried to unstake that early. So Bitcoin hasn't even been around for 15 years, and you've got people that are Bitcoin OGs that are, and myself included, that have these really long stakes, and that really goes to show you that the difference, right, between us and a lot of the other things that are out there, because Hex really is a product, and that's what separates it from all of the other cryptocurrencies, in my opinion, is it's complete. I mean, there's no promises, there's no future expectations, things like that, and it's all verified. It's got 3 audits. I mean, Richard was kind of like the first one in DeFi and in crypto to popularize verifying the code and that the finances were secure by like getting multiple audits from different companies. So it's got like 2 security audits and 1 financial audit. And that's good, because I mean, if you're going to be locking up your money and lots of money, there's lots of money being locked up for that long, you want to make sure that there's no rug pulls or something like Solana where they just turn off the network. Hex doesn't have any admin keys. Like I mentioned, it's completely locked. So once it's set in that smart contract and locked and the keys are thrown away, there can never be any changes to the contract itself. Hey, what's up, Crypto Learner says, if you do a staking ladder, start with a Quattro Cinco math advice. Yeah, I actually really agree with this as well, and I know Kareem talks about this, and shout out to him too, right? He got promoted or he got a job offer from Steph with Staker.app, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit later too, because it's really cool to see someone like himself, like I mentioned, brings the receipts. Last night I was Richard was gonna dump. Last night I was watching the stream that Kareem did with Maddie Allen, and Kareem is willing to share how much Hex he owns and how much shares he owns and his staking length, and how many sharks when it comes to the staking league do that and actually try and educate you on their advice. But yeah, that's one thing that Kareem talks about, is kind of just starting off with the longest stake, and that way you're going to kind of understand how the system works. You're going to get that daily interest, and even if it takes you a little while to understand, at least you've got something that's going to be working for you and that's going to be out there in the future. Okay, who else we got? Let's see. Just stick $1,000. Why not? What else we got? And I don't know if this person's being facetious or not. It's sometimes kind of hard to tell with text on the internet, but just to at least address a comment like this, right? Richard Hart is for sure kind of dumb. Like I mentioned, guy is like 41 and he retired when he was 23. And when he retired, was a multimillionaire. He's mentioned many times that he has more money than he could ever spend, right, in this lifetime. And so what it comes down to is with people like other traditional systems, whether it's Bezos or Musk, things like this, generally it's designed where they already have abundance where they don't need to cut off their nose to spite their face. Like why would they try and destroy the project by dumping and causing all of this fear when they don't need to? So I don't think that that's the case per se. And if it is, I mean, I just don't really see a future of that being a reality, right? He's already a Bitcoin OG and all this other stuff. And why would he need to sell something that he created, right? That wouldn't be good for Hex. So I personally don't see that happening, but everyone's got their own opinions. Paul Chavez says 216 watching and 215 likes. Thank you. That's really appreciative, especially with the technical difficulties as well. Like I said, we'll get that fixed next time. But really goes to show you how cool and supportive the community is, being understanding. Like I mentioned, when technical difficulties can happen. So good stuff, Bran. Chuck's definitely has a point, and this is what it's designed to do. He says this will be the greatest transfer of wealth outside of legacy finance. When we look at the tweet that I was telling you about with Richard, it was an article. We'll go into that now. But the article pretty much states that Hex doubles every 48 days. So let me post this up in the share screen here and get this on. Okay, cool. Actually, we'll leave Chuck's comment up here because it's relative to what I want to talk about. So this is the article that I'm referring to, and actually this website, they've written a lot of PR and news releases on Hex, which is really cool. But it says Hex coin doubled in price every 48 days. The chart shows, talks about reaching new all-time highs every 48 days, and has the most impressive growth story in the crypto world. That's cool. I mean, not only crypto, but in my opinion, in the world. But what I want to get into is this, right? So I mentioned Hex being like a black hole for financial capital, things like that. It's what it's designed to do. And especially as it goes up in price and it gets more viral, people are going to think that they've missed the boat, which they haven't, but they don't want to miss out on the gains, and they want to keep earning the gains daily. So they're going to be jumping in the people that heard about it a year ago and never got in, things like that. But you can kind of see here what I'm talking about, where this almost is like the black hole. So you got Hex in the green, which we can go into on Nomics later. Bitcoin's down, Ethereum's down over a 24-hour period. And on Nomics.com, Hex is the only green one on the top three, just because it's the better product. But everything else here is a sea of red, and it kind of swirls into Hex. So I thought that was really cool, and it's nice to know how the system works, what it's designed to do, and how early we really are. Someone did a little super chat here. Let me get to. And I think someone else had like a $5 one that I might have missed. I might have missed it on the comment. So thank you, whoever did that. I'll try and go back up. But $33. Renaud says we math. Yeah, people like Kareem, people like Gerardo. Gerardo's got the website we can actually go to right now. Look into hex.com. And yeah, Gerardo is great. He actually has his own Telegram too, which I think you should join, because how cool is it that you can interact with these people and ask them questions, things like that. But so it really is just math at the end of the day. And I know a lot of the Bitcoiners are a fan of their stock to flow and things like that. But Gerardo has done a really good job here and updates this website constantly, if not like every minute by minute type deal. But so it shows Hex versus Bitcoin, Hex versus Ethereum. Let's just look at the one versus Bitcoin to kind of tell you what I'm referring to. We'll get into Tony's super chat in a second here. So yeah, Hex versus Bitcoin, return on investment from launch. So Bitcoin has done 6.5 million times, which is a lot and unheard of. And that's great. But they've also had a lot of flaws, right? They don't have the incentive of locking their coins. Things like Hex do. Bitcoin does proof of work, which is harmful on the environment. And sometimes you'll hear Bitcoiners that are like, yeah, that's a cool argument, but 80% of it's hydroelectric and stuff like that and environmentally friendly. But that leaves another 20%, which is a lot when it comes to Bitcoin's mining and hash rate and stuff like that. And so Richard had mentioned on Zuby's interview, which a lot of people agree with as well, but as the Bitcoin mining difficulty goes up, it's going to be more harmful on the environment. So why would you want to support such a thing? Because it doesn't seem in this day and age to be very sustainable, in my opinion, with everything that's going on. So something like Hex doesn't have that negative externality, and it does actually incentivize you. And you pay yourself via the form of interest and inflation for locking and being a good citizen of the system. But so let's get into it. So yeah, Bitcoin did it 6.5 million X. You can kind of see it's got its little waves and things like that. I think Richard had mentioned like every 3 years, it kind of has a cycle where it'll do a bull run, I believe, for about 3 years, and then like a bear market for like 1 year, something like that. And generally, it retraces about 85%, which is where he came up with that $10,000 price for Bitcoin. But so we can see here that, and it's kind of in my way, but we can see that Hex is obviously the magenta, and its angle is just so much higher when it comes to comparing it with Bitcoin. When you look at the programmed currency and look at the math and whatnot, it really is just like a giant parabola. You can see Bitcoin's parabola, but you can see what Hex is doing, and it's just on a completely different trajectory. And I think that's really exciting because, like I mentioned, it is designed to do more than what Bitcoin did, and you can see how early we are, and that it is working. So same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum had a 10,000x in 2.5 years. It's got a little different, maybe more aggressive than Bitcoin price chart here, but then we can see how Hex compares with Ethereum. So that's really cool. Shout out to Gerardo. He's really doing some great work. And if you don't have a look into hex.com, which is what this is, if you don't have this bookmarked and saved, you're definitely missing out. And like I said, this is all free right here. We can scroll up and see this is like the regression rainbow, heat map. For everyone that loves their math and data and stuff like this, Gerardo is definitely really good at presenting that. Let's get into some of the comments here. We'll go for a little bit longer. I don't want to make this too long of a stream, but we'll keep going here and kind of try and focus on some of the comments here. So Yoshimi says, relatively newbie here. Is there a video that explains the difference between staking 15 years straight, so 15 years straight, and restake every year for 15 years? So actually someone in the chat, which is Alan, 8-Bit Hex, shout out to you guys. They're the ones that are doing this road trip across the U.S. The first Hex conference that was online and that Maddie had hosted, him and Patrick had done a presentation, and they had done a presentation on why you'd want to do a Quattro Cinco versus the year-to-year stakes that you had mentioned. You can go back and find that. Just type in like Maddie Allen on YouTube or Twitter, and you'll find his channel. And it's the first Hex conference that was online. and look for their presentation. They did a very good presentation on it. So that's the only thing I can think of currently. If someone else has any other thing, oh yeah, okay, use hexcalc.net. That's actually, yeah, that was actually a lot better of an answer than what I came up with. Hexcalc.net is really cool. It allows you to say like not only what the t-share price is, so you know how many shares you're getting, but you can put in the principal that you have or that you want to have, and then the amount of days that you want to stake for, and then also what your projection of the future hex price might be. And it's got a lot of stats on it. So that's actually a really good website. Thank you for bringing that up. It's a good problem to have, right? Because there's so much information, websites and data and streamers that it's almost it's hard for one person to keep up with, right? And that shows you the abundance of all of the information we have, and it's still growing. So how cool is that? Hex Hodl says 10 years triples the shares. Yeah, so every single year that you stake in Hex up to 3,641 days, you get 20% more of the shares. And the shares are your portion of the inflation, and then also the interest via penalties via people that are staked and then unstake. Because when they unstake, it's a smart contract. They didn't keep their word, right? And Richard's not going to just let someone unstake and get all of their principal and interest back without a penalty, right? So the people that unstake early, half of it goes to the origin address, the other half gets shared between all of the stakers based on the amount of shares that you have. Let's see. So Abit says, by staking 5 years longer, you make the same interest in the last 5 years than you do in the first 10 years. Yeah, that's a really good point that you mentioned too. I mean, 10-year stakes are going to be absolutely amazing when it comes to the abundance with all of the interest and price appreciation. But that's also a lot of shares that are going to expire between the 10-year mark until the 15. So if you do have that 15-year stake, like you mentioned, you're going to be able to keep those shares for another 5 years, and those only get harder to buy. If we go to Hex.vision, maybe I can pull that up on a different URL while I let it load. But we can actually see what the expiration of stakes are based on the share. So no other project or product or anything like that has this kind of information in granularity where you can see, or you might be able to speculate when there might be more sell pressure or more volatility, things like that. And the cool thing, let's actually put it up on the screen here. So the cool thing about this was developed by Firebun. He's also a co-developer in Staker.app, which is another free resource you should check out. But let's scroll down here. So this website has, once again, all the data you could ever ask for. So let's scroll all the way down. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about. So open stakes by expected end time. So it goes to show you, I mean, 2022 all the way up to 2036. So what we can see is these are the people that are staking, like I mentioned, based on their shares. And you can kind of see when people are ending, what their time frame and horizon is. If you're a new Hexakin and say you're developing a staking ladder or you're just getting into it, the consistency of a staking ladder is great, right? You're going to have continual income coming out when you decide to at whatever interval. But if you can do it, say at like intervals like here or here, pretty much places where it's not these big red candles, then you're probably going to have a lot more of an opportunity to get the maximum growth and return on investment, because there's less people that are maybe selling at that time. So I think that, dude, you need a mic. I got a mic, buddy. It's right here. You don't got anything nice to say, don't say it at all. I mean, that's not really constructive. Anyway, so let's see. BallietBran brings the world together. Love it. Yeah, thanks. It's really what it comes down to. I mean, Richard understands the same thing, right? When you can be positive and educate people, then it does a lot better for yourself, your psyche, things like that, than putting people down and just like that person's hidden. Because I haven't heard any complaints from anyone else. So you're just going to be hidden, buddy. I mean, that's the other thing. My channel, I've got no tolerance for people that just criticize without education, information. Yeah. And here's what I will say. So this person, even though they're blocked now from the channel, what we're seeing a lot, and I think it's from competitors or just other people. Yeah, this person's going to be hidden too. But what it comes down to is there's a lot of people, as Hex is growing, that are being trolls. Yeah, just hide those people. Please help out, Mons, so I don't have to distract myself. But you're successful when you have haters and when you've got people flooding the comments with spam bots or slander and things like that. And we're definitely seeing that actually a lot. Papa B, I know Identity Block, he's right here too. But we've got t.me/PulseChain.com, right? It's a Telegram for PulseChain. Well, it also has the audio feature enabled. So it's really cool. Be respectful, obviously, when you're on it, because there's a lot of mods there as well. But there's a lot of people that are coming into the Hex community that are, let's just, I thought I hit this user already. There's a lot of people that have kind of come in the community, pretend to be Hexicans, things like this, and then they FUD or they kind of have hesitancies. And there's definitely a difference between people that are genuinely curious and then people that just set up these accounts. But I'm noticing a lot of that happening lately, and I know that's something that Papa B mentioned the other day too. So yeah, we'll definitely, let's get this Apex guy out of here too, guys, so I don't have to spend time wasting distracting myself. So yeah, ton of fake OGs. It really is true, and when you have something that's going to be the top performing asset in the world, and Richard wants it to be the future global reserve currency, not only is that a huge ambition and is it doing what it's designed to do, but there's a lot of people, not only Bitcoiners and stuff, but especially as we start competing with traditional systems, that don't want that to happen. And Hex is great. Richard had thought about all the future possibilities by making it immutable, but people really need to take their security seriously, take their finances seriously. Don't be posting like, just be smart, right? Like the internet is here forever. The data can be retrieved, and the last thing you want is people trying to put harm or fear, things like that, or what we're seeing now, like I mentioned, which is just a lot of people trying to infiltrate and, oh, what about this? Not Wise anymore, but now it's a different one, a different type of clone on BSC, and the thing is I don't know, it's just really deceiving and not something we should tolerate much. But that's all I have to say about that. I'll stop ranting there. So Hex Roman, thanks everyone for being here, says, when we pay too much attention on something, it becomes a part of us. That's really true. That's definitely true. I agree with you. It's hard sometimes not to get too involved with the chat and react like that when I'm looking at every comment. But you're definitely right. And Hexicans have their attention, their focus, their momentum on not only positivity, helping others grow, but having the product succeed. So there's a saying that's like, let's see, house divided against itself doesn't stand type deal. And I think Hexicans really understand that, as opposed to the known toxic Bitcoin maximalists or just other communities in general. So it's really cool that we're educating people. We have OGs that are still streaming, still providing value, and just everyone's kind of being successful that are taking the information and using it. Always a good stream, bro. Thank you. Let's talk Hex. Yeah, I mean, if you have any questions, we can definitely get into that. So Duking Production says, if Hex does 6 million X, what will the price be? Honestly, I don't know that right off bat, and I don't want to get into the math because that'll take forever. But what I can tell you is hexinfo.io, that tells you the all-time low. I'm looking for it right now. I know 56 cents is the, and I can actually post it right here. I know 56 cents is the 10,000X mark. And let me just show you this website real quick, because it does have the data of Hex's lowest price, which was, what was it, January 5th, 2020, but it's 4 zeros and then it's 5645. So whatever 6.5 million X on that is, I'll let you do the math. What's up, Archie? How's it going? What are your predictions for opening price on PulseChain? I mean, honestly, I don't see people that are going to sell for less than what they sacrifice. You know, I don't know. I mean, we saw with Hex, it kind of had a little bit of a dump here and there, but honestly, I can't really answer that question because I haven't really thought about it very much. But that's not really where my focus is, right? Like I mentioned, my focus is kind of like, okay, what has Hex done in 1 year? What has Ethereum done in 1 year? And what can PulseChain do in 1 year? What we do know is the supply itself is completely deflationary, right? It's not going to have any inflation, and that's obviously a huge price fundamental. But there's always fluctuations, right? Even with Hex, we had a pump and then a little bit of a fluctuation. But what you see, since it's all parabola and math and stuff like that, and all one giant S curve, is even though it goes up and down and whatnot, it does so in a trajectory upward. So that's definitely something that, you know, I think PulseChain can do what Hex has done, and I think it can do the initial design of Hex, which is the 10,000X in 2.5 years, things like that. So this person says, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Honestly, I've been thinking about this actually a lot. I know Motley has mentioned this before in Wendy's for Candies, but yeah, a lot of the, like I mentioned, a lot of the OGs are going to need to take their security seriously and things like that. I don't know if I'll still be in the States or somewhere else, things like that. But all I do know is that the security right now is fine, more than enough. But as we continue to scale and as I continue to make other moves, you'll want to, maybe move to places where yourself is treated best, where your money is treated best. But in 5 years, I mean, there's going to be a lot of wealth, for the people that are in now. So pretty much I could do anything or move anywhere that I wanted to. But those are things to be thinking about now, because it's not going to be very long before that does come to fruition and that time does pass. But it's a good question. They asked me that in my interview in 2017 from the job that I retired from. And they were like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? And I told them retired and that I was in crypto and stuff like this. And they chuckled and they laughed. And then, none of them laughed when I put in my resignation. So that was kind of funny. So Billy B says, when Richard Hart said Hex was designed to do 10,000X in 2.5 years, was he meaning from launch date or from the lowest price? I mean, you generally measure from the lowest price, right? Why not? I mean, or even the launch date too. Like, I don't know. That's kind of just getting into the weeds a little bit too much. I mean, all I know is it's pretty much done that 10,000X. I mean, we did wake up to that 56 cents, I believe. So not something I'm really focusing on. Let's see, Hex Deck 16. The best response is success. Congrats, BallietBran. Exciting times ahead. Yeah, it is really exciting times. And like I said, I mean, just be cautious, right? A lot of us Hexicans are friendly, and I have on my on the little scroll thing at the bottom, the banner, that if you do want to direct message me, please just do it on Telegram, because with Twitter they not only like read messages and stuff, which I'm not a huge fan of people reading messages, even if there's nothing out of the ordinary said, but they what was I going to say? The message request. There's a message request function that has people that DM me, and there's like 30 messages that I didn't even realize that were there. With things like Telegram, it just directly goes to the notification, and I'm making it a better habit and a goal to be better about responding to people. But just as Richard has said, I mean, he has an inbox of like 1,400 unread messages. As we continue to gain popularity, we're going to have a lot more growth in that case. But until that does happen, I'll try and answer in as much detail and as quickly as possible. Ross says, any insight on when PULSECHAIN will be live in the test environment? I'm not too sure. I would think sooner than later. I mean, if you look at some of the commits to the GitLab and the code itself, I don't know. I mean, it's really tough, right? Because software is all kind of random for when the things happen. But it seems that they're making progress, right? Richard had posted from our stream that Hextech 16 and myself did on Friday that some of the problems that they were having are now fixed. So I'm hoping soon. I mean, I now have like my projection of the network itself and the main chain being launched, hopefully by the end of the year. I mean, that's kind of like my conservative guess. So it's not going to take very long for the testnet to be out, maybe 2 weeks or 4 weeks for them to develop, and then hopefully it launches subsequently. Don't go changing on us when you're famous, brand. Yeah, I'm definitely not, right? Shrimp's only one. I love it. Yeah, definitely not changing, but just taking these things seriously. I mean, I'm actually surprised it took Richard this long to get the bodyguards, and it's just something you got to think about. I mean, all forms of security, right? I saw someone in my DMs or somewhere in the comment section saying that they had got hacked, when in reality it wasn't hacked. It's that they had given their seed to someone. They had got socially engineered. But when it comes down to your seed phrase, never share that with anyone. Those 12 words or 18 or 24 words, never share that with anyone. Have contingency plans, right? You don't want to have it on, say, a piece of paper that might burn in a house fire, things like that. So I'm definitely not going to change, but I will continue to update and upgrade the worldview and the things around me as things scale up, because we're already seeing it, like I mentioned, in the comment section and other people's live streams of just there being people that are jealous of the success and don't want to see that success. Let's see. Pulse live by end of October, mid-November tops. I sure hope so. I mean, I'm excited. It's crazy. Got the PULSECHAIN shirt and the little light back there, and just a whole bunch of stuff, right? And it hasn't even launched yet, which is really cool to show the success that something like Richard Hart is capable of. The chain hasn't even launched, but that what he's developing is not only never done before, but it's going to be successful. And if there's someone that's going to do something the right way and take time to make sure that it gets done properly, it's Richard. So that's why it's important. I mean, like I mentioned earlier, you look at Solana, SOL, and they claim to be an Ethereum killer and smart contracts and all this stuff, but their network just shut down for at least, I think, 24 hours, if not maybe longer. And that's not the definition of what crypto was designed to do. It was designed to be trustless and not have someone that can just shut the network off at a whim whenever they want to. So I'm glad that Richard's taken the time to make sure the code is proper. He did the same thing with Hex. I mean, Hex was delayed like 8 months. And there's that meme that a lot of us say 4 more weeks. So do you think Hex will go any lower? I mean, personally, it might fluctuate a little bit here and there, but I don't see us going lower. No. I mean, we've already passed a lot of each 10-cent increment is already kind of like a psychological number, and sure, you can have a little bit of fluctuations from week to week and things like that, but with just all of the bullish information and copy, things like that, especially with that copy that you're still capable of qualifying for right now, I don't see it going down anytime soon. I mean, once we hit that dollar mark, we already kind of touched 50 cents briefly, and then people had some sells and whatnot. But once we touch the dollar mark, it's going to be the similar reaction of when Hex was a penny. And once we hit a penny, that was always a goal. And then once it happened, it was like, okay, this is the reality now. And so $1 is just going to be, okay, the next target's $10 and then dollars. And then we're going to see it actually doing what it was designed to do. People never thought Bitcoin could go from a penny. They would have laughed at you if you would have said it could have gone to $65,000. But something like Hex is designed to do just that. So testnet within 14 days. I'd be curious to see where you got that information, because I haven't heard anything. I've, not something that I would ever mention publicly without knowing. So I'd be curious to see what made you say that. Please share with me your information. David, honestly, can we see Hex $20 to $40 by next year? Yeah, why not? I mean, I think we're going to hit $1 very soon. I mean, let's see, it's September 19th right now. I know Hexologist says $2.01 by the end of the year. I think that target's very feasible, if not maybe a little bit more, because once we hit that dollar, like I said, it's just going to be people getting in that didn't get in, and we're just going to continue going up from there. So yeah, with it being the 6.5 million X, and Bitcoin did it within, I think, like 10 years, something like that, then we're going to continue ramping up and having the price go up more quickly as the parabola continues going up. So I think that $20 to $40 is very very feasible. When you look at the liquidity, you look at everything else, the community growing, and not to mention the actual interest and yield that you're earning. And it's an asset that is in high demand. And once the demand outweighs the supply, then, which is what we have, then you have significant price growth. BallietBran is already Hex famous. Thanks, bro. Let's see, Hex on PulseChain has done a 0x at this point. The future is bright. Yeah, exactly. Well, and the future is bright that you mentioned too, because no one has ever had that copy of the system state. So literally everything that you have, all of the interest, if you had big payday, things like that, the shares that you have, all of that's going to get copied over. So you really couldn't ask for anything more, really. I can confirm, as I created the newsletter template and Walrus wrote the information, Richard Hart signed off on it. Okay, yeah, I did hear in some other channels that Walrus had done some stuff or mentioned some stuff. So that's good to know. Excited, right? I'm excited because I'm really excited for that to launch by the end of the year, hopefully, and start competing with things like Ethereum and be the network that they weren't. Just like with Bitcoin, they had their opportunity, they failed, and Hex is already showing that by our growth and success. PulseChain's going to do the same thing. Yeah, when Saturn is a better question. Yeah, that's why I got the Saturn poster over there. Yep, big old hexagon on Saturn. Let's see, there was a tweet that I think originated from Trevon with dates on it for testnet, snapshot and mainnet, but didn't come from Richard. So yeah, I mean, yeah, I like Ty. He's another person that streamed with Identity Block for a while. So yeah, I mean, hey, what we do know is it's going to happen, right? It's just a matter of when. Just like with all these price targets and things like this, it's not if it's a possibility. It's that it's most likely going to happen, but just a matter of time until we get there. So testnet in the near future. Yep, that's exciting. There's a lot of people already mentioning that they're going to be building, they're going to be transferring over. So that's going to have a lot of usage, adoption, and that's what the network really needs. Hex is great because people are locking it. It's a store of value. But things like PulseChain, and I see we got Pulse Doge in here. They're making a coin that's going to get forked over to PulseChain. But what we need is the adoption of the network for its success, right? Because you've got the fees that are, I think it's like 25%. Don't quote me on that, but I think 25% of the fee gets burned on each transaction, things like that. and you have it being deflationary. So pretty cool. Okay, it came from the admins. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm always kind of skeptical, so I'm happy you guys are sharing the good information. It's going to happen, but I ultimately trust Richard's word when it comes to his products. Welcome, Karen. Hi, Hexakin, new here. Yeah, there's a lot of people being onboarded from the road trip tour that Patrick and Alan are doing, and they're going to end the tour in Vegas, which is going to be March 6th through the 9th. If you don't have your ticket yet, go to, I don't even know what the website is, but just type in Matty Allen on Twitter, and he's got all of the information there. I'll be there, and that'll be cool to meet everyone. It's crazy because I was there at the first conference, which wasn't too long ago. It was in June, and there was like 330 people, I believe. But there was already so many people I couldn't meet all of them. And some of the people like Hextech that I streamed with, I only got to say hi for like, I don't know, like a minute or something. It was just so busy, right? So much going on. But I think as we continue to have these events and Matty, continues to kind of scale the event with the amount of people, it'll be, I think, structured a little bit to a point where we can hopefully meet as many people as possible. And looking forward to that. What's up, Franklin? Hey, how's it going, man? Hope you're doing well. Another Hex OG. Let's see. David, sorry I sound like a noob. Relatively new Hexagon here. Is BallietBran an OG whale or something? I'm an OG. I'm not a whale. I'll just say a lot of the OGs are doing well. I mean, yeah, sometimes there's just been jokes from other people in the community, but no. Let's see. So what Trevor posted is real. I mean, it sounds like it from what Ty is saying and from the other stuff that I'm hearing too. I just don't want to be the one to say it because I need to read it myself. But yeah, it sounds like some good stuff. Love when I catch your streams. Yeah, Franklin, thanks, man. It's this stream's a little bit unique because the Wi-Fi itself is just for whatever reason kind of lagging or a little bit choppy. But happy that everyone's been here and just trying to answer the questions and help out as much as possible. OG Hex Dog, OG Brand just oozes Hex all around. Yeah, it's cool because when you have something that's successful and that's changing your life, and it's not like Amway or other stuff, right, where it's too good to be true and is literal Ponzi and pyramids. But when you have someone go from working a job, making a little bit above minimum wage and kind of just getting by to under 2 years later retiring and having their net worth grow significantly, then other people notice that and you kind of want to tell them about it if they're interested in it as well. So yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I've pretty much onboarded all of my family members, the girlfriend, her family, and it's just starting. So the cool thing is it really is that kind of like grassroots type of movement, and it's definitely a strong one there. Yeah, what's up, Pulse Doge? How's it going? That's another thing that's cool too is Hex is just going to be one of the things on PulseChain, right? There's going to be a lot of people that are in PulseChain that aren't in Hex, and at the end of the day, if you're in Pulse, you want the adoption of the network, whether you agree with it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you think it's a scam or not, whether things like that. Like I said, it's the network being used, it's their community, things like that are going to make everything grow. So two completely different design intentions, and just something for things to people to consider about not trying to bash too heavily, in my opinion. It's definitely not the approach that I'm going to do. Great time to be in Hex and Pulse. Totally. Yeah, PulseChain hasn't even launched yet. What's up, DJ Cryptomatic? How you doing, man? This is the best DJ, and he's got a vinyl of Hex. I think he's got 2 of them on his mixing board. So definitely go check him out. I think he's in Germany, but yeah, people all around the world and people of all different skills. Well, I don't know. I think they had said that it was on BSC right now, but that it was going to be over to PulseChain. So you kind of have to look into it more. I mean, they're here in the chat right now, so they can kind of answer the question. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because I don't know much about it. But as said millions of times, don't get shaken out during the whale waves in the beginning of Pulse. Yeah, that's one thing that Pulse has that Pulse doesn't have that Hex does, right? Like Hex can lock for 15 years, but for Pulse, I don't think you'll be like the actual staking is going to be delegated to the validators. It's not going to be like that. So yeah, you're right. It might be more of a prevalent opportunity for people to get shaken out and things like that. And people really need to zoom out when they are looking at the chart and when they are looking at their time horizon of their investment. And that's why we talk about trading being very bad for your health and finances and relationships and things like that, because not only is it stressful, but then if you put too much in and you lose, now you're trying to revenge trade to make back up what you had previously. And it's just a bad habit all around. Whereas opposed to things like Bitcoin, if you would have just held it from a penny and forgot about it, then you would have not had to sell once it doubled or things like that. Tony, I see you calling me, but I'm streaming, so I'm not going to answer that. And I'm about to end the stream somewhat soon, so I'll call you back later, man. Cryptomatic Hex slip mats. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's Hex things everywhere, man. Hexmerch.com. There's cryptowares.net, I believe. Yeah, .net. There's Etsy, and then you can type in Hex or PulseChain, and a lot of stuff by Crypto Styles USA and all this other different vendors. There's a lot more merch that exists now than when Hex first started. It was something that you had to it was something that you had to like print yourself, and sometimes you'd get a bad quality manufacturer, things like that. Yeah, I mean, as far as this goes, I try not to talk about the stuff too much just because I don't know much about it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be hiring someone that does, right? When you have a certain amount of capital and gains and things like this, people like Gary with funding Jim. OG just stands for original gangster. Just means that you were there since the beginning, things like that. But when it comes down to the wealth and all this stuff, you want to set up things properly, like I mentioned, because it's already grown so much that you can afford having the best people, maximize what they're good at. Because you might be good at something, but maybe you're not good at everything. So yeah, that's definitely what I'm doing. And more long term, yeah, most likely some sort of trust, things like that, because you don't want to get in a car crash like Funding Jim mentions and then have someone sue you because they know that you have a whole bunch of crypto, stuff like that. Let's see. Yeah, Goldie, there was a oh wait, the screen's not clear. That's because this is a little bit of a technical difficulty that I don't normally have when I stream here at my house. So I tried to troubleshoot it earlier, but just kind of went with the flow because it was either like stop the stream or just go with the flow and fix it next time. Anytime is good to buy Hex. Yep, totally. Okay, so still a good time to add to my Hex bag. Let me scroll up a bit. I am relatively new to Hex, but loving the community. Hey, welcome, Jared Pringle. Yeah, it's definitely a good time. I mean, it's always a good time, right? And it's also always a good time to be staking, because even if you do, like someone earlier, even if you do buy the local top, I mean, Hex is constantly making all-time highs. And we see in the article that I showed earlier that on average, it's been doubling every 48 days. And so even if it does dip a little bit in a 1 week time frame, if you just zoom out and look at, say, the monthly, or just look at where it's going and have a time horizon that's not so short term and short focused, then yeah, you'll understand why it's because also you're going to get the copy for PulseChain too. So yeah, I pretty much think it's always a good time. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, man? Saw him in Vegas. Another person that I only said hi for like 10 seconds to. Same thing with Wells Only and all these other people. So definitely want to have more of an opportunity to have better conversations. But I also know there's going to be like probably like 1,000 or a lot more people at the conference. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to that though. Yeah, the streams. Let's see. The streams don't normally have video problems. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I think because I know last night the Wi-Fi had kind of changed from the power went off and then it changed to Wi-Fi instead of Ethernet. But it says I'm on Ethernet now. And anyways, we'll figure it out next time. I promise. I'll spend a little bit more time delaying it to make sure it's all good. Let's see, trying to find the link to Pulse update. Maybe go on Twitter and find Hex Odyssey. Info is there. Thank you. That's great. I know I follow them as well, so I'll definitely check it out. Let's see. Isn't the math off on Hex? Let's see, go.hex.com. When you stake, it tells you the amount of Hex you will get, but it's not perfect, right? Well, it doesn't tell you the amount of Hex you'll get, but that's the effective Hex that you're staking at. Maybe I should read the rest of the question. In the end, it is your T-shares times the payout times the amount of days. Yep. Right. Let's see. Goldie. All right, we'll go for a couple more minutes. So let's see. So if one has liquid Hex and the Pulse chain is launched, will one be able to buy a Pulse with Hex? Yeah. So Richard talks about there being a bridge and things like Uniswap are going to come over. But yeah, there's going to be an opportunity, whether you're on Ethereum or BSC, to bridge over to the Pulse chain network, or yeah, like you mentioned, if you have Hex, to be able to kind of sell and kind of convert that into Pulse chain from Hex. So that'll definitely be happening. It's just a matter of time once it's launched and things like that, when the automated market makers actually open up and you can do that. So I'm not sure how much time that's going to take. Maybe like a day or something. True. Always secure your $100,000 bag as if it were 1 million. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people at the beginning of Hex had, say, $1,000 or even less, right? But say if you just had 1,000, well, the first 1,000x now it's worth $1 million, and that's if you didn't stake. So definitely take your security seriously now, because once you set up your seed phrase and your stakes and stuff like that, especially once you're staked, you just want to make sure you took the steps. Maybe get a hardware wallet. Trezor is really good. There's also Ledger and things like that. But I only know about Trezor. And yeah, I mean, you really are your own bank at the end of the day. So people mention that they got hacked and things like that. And most likely it's not that they got hacked, but that they thought that they were talking to a MetaMask support or a Hex support team because they asked a newbie question and they happened to give away their seed phrase because someone had convinced them that they were there to help and that they were a good person. So it's very prevalent in the crypto space. That's why we always say never share your seed phrase. Don't ever give that to anyone. Cool. Got another message from someone that's trying to onboard into Hex. So how cool is that? That's the other thing. I mean, people like Motley, not only are those guys attendees and myself still streaming, but also spending time outside of the streams, which is a lot, helping people not only here, but friends and whatnot that want to get into Hex. So it really is kind of like a full-time job, onboarding people, answering their questions. But it's the process that's important, because you don't want your friend to get into it and then be susceptible to such an attack. What's up, Sensi Dozy? See, Alan says, I'm not counting my money ahead of time, but goddamn, I'm excited. Hey, me too, man. I see what the interest on Staker.app is doing, and it's all working very well. Especially with there being like 10% of the amount of Hex staked. It's paying a really good interest, whether you're staked for a year, the average length, or the max amount of length. you're getting a really good interest. Okay, let's see. Any more comments? What do we have here? Let's see. Is there any last questions? Hey, what's up, Hex Live? How are you doing, man? I saw your recent tweet. Thought that was really cool. A lot of people are getting their time back to spend with their family, with their loved ones, with things they actually care about, as opposed to someone else's narrative or companies and corporations. So, and Hextech 16 and I, we talked about this, but and Richard mentions this with legacy and wanting to constantly help people, but finding out your why, things like that. So once you have all your time back, and you're going to sit in your house all day and do nothing and be depressed. No, like that's how retired people do die early and lose hope. You want to continue building, working, providing value, but in a way that you enjoy, and something like that. Text me up. Hey, what's up? The video is fixed on my side. Okay, well, hey, if it's fixed on your side, that's cool, because maybe, who knows? Networks can be kind of funny, and I'm not on fiber here like I am at the girlfriend's place. I tell you what, that fiber, because this is hardwired, but the fiber, man, that's some good internet. Let's see. Be careful where you order your hardware wallet. Many official sites can have your hardware wallet manipulated before you receive it and remove your coins. Yeah, the other thing is when it comes to, okay, cool, the video finally got cleaned up, I guess. Only took pretty much the whole stream. When you're setting up your hardware wallet, I know on things like Trezor, they've got the, a PIN, which is optional, and then which they recommend, and then obviously your seed phrase, which you get standard, which you never share. You generate it via the hardware wallet itself, but you can also create I think it's called like a hidden passphrase, or like pretty much it's like a separate password that accesses the account aside from just a PIN. And the reason that something like that is important is because, if someone gets a hold of your Trezor, there's ways that they can actually extract that data and get your seeds. But even if they have your seeds, to my knowledge, this I believe is correct. Even if they have your seed, they would still need to know that hidden passphrase. They wouldn't need to know the PIN, I don't believe, but the hidden passphrase, which is where your wealth should be hidden inside. So just multiple layers of security, things like this, because people are getting more advanced in social engineering. The technology is getting more advanced to scan the hardware wallets and take the data. So just like the other person said, treat PulseChain, treat it like it's $1 million. With the amount of gains that we're going to see, and that's even before interest, but before or after interest, it's going to be a lot of money. And the last thing you want to see is these stories of people getting compromised when we have our first million X, or just as the price continues to go up. That's never fun. Being hacked or losing access to my accounts freaked me out too. Well, and it shouldn't freak you out if you are armed with the security and have taken the time to do all of the steps, right? That's really what it comes down to. I mean, I agree, right? It is scary for people to think that, there's no bailout like the traditional system has, the FDIC insurance and things like that. Like, is there insurance on crypto? Like, no, it's you and the network. And I mentioned my biggest mistake in Hex was sending to the contract address, and guess what? Contract is locked. Like, nothing can be done about it. So, and I guess someone else did that the other day too. So just be smart, be slow, double check when you're sending that you're sending to your proper address. Look at the beginning, look at the end of the address, and just take your time. It's all a new system and something that is going to be around for a long time. So, and it'll get easier as we go on too. But that'll happen as the price continues to go up. Naga was pumped. Hex got him over $1 million. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Congrats to him. There's a lot of people that are newfounded millionaires, and that's great, multimillionaires, and a lot of wealth being provided thanks to proper assets, good design, and things like that. So be careful. Yes, definitely be careful. I mean, um, you know, people that are posting their addresses or their wallets and things like that, it's your prerogative. I'm not going to do it, but if you want to, feel free. But that's definitely something that could be a huge operational security compromise when people know that you have such amount of wealth and they can track the address and what you're doing, and that it's dormant, and that the price is going up. So I try not to reveal any information like that could have a group of people to your house, things like that. That's the last thing you want, because that stuff has happened. I mean, you've seen. I mean, that's why in my car and vehicles and stuff, I don't put any hex things or things like that. I mean, you've seen stories back in the day of Bitcoin OGs putting a sticker on their Ferrari and stuff and held up gunpoint. And there's a lot of those scary stories that all it takes is it to happen to one person and realize, okay, maybe I should take this seriously, right? If it can happen to one person, it can happen to other people. So why not just make sure you have the steps to make sure nothing like that ever does happen. The 1 million X for hex soon. Totally agree. Let's see. When Oasis? I don't even know what that means. Naga, as in World of Warcraft, Walking Fishman. I have no idea. Never played that game. Hexcoin 13. LOL, going back to work again. Why? I ask myself. Then I think to buy more hex. Yeah, Richard talks about that a lot. Yeah. Good night, Doge. Pulse Doge. I did the same thing too. And similar to Hextech, if you have like a big financial decision or anything like that, it's important to let the time kind of run its course and develop that idea and decision and action before you actually just impulsively do it. Right? When I had retired at my work, I could have done it 6 months earlier, if not longer. And I waited because I wanted to make sure it was the right decision. And then it just really got to the point where it's like, man, just earning way too much that it's almost a liability working at work, because it's just too much time that's not being spent how I want it to. Top job, thank you. Here down under, I'm sorry to hear about that. I wouldn't worry. Most people in the bush here don't care what money you have. Yeah, I think you guys have other things to worry about, but hope you're doing well. Hope all is good. Hope you're safe and secure and stuff. Good night, Hexicans. Yep, take it easy. I'm going to end the stream in just like a minute. Just want to see if there's any last minute questions that are important. Nobody would want to try to come to my house. Same here. Yeah. Lots of Hexicans are big gun owners. But anyways, gated community with all guns and security watch with them. Yeah. I mean, it's just smart. I mean, you look at wealthy people or just anyone. Like, why does your house have? Richard talks about this, but why does your house have a lock on it? Right? Do you sleep with it unlocked or locked? No, you sleep with it locked, right? You don't just want anyone coming in. So, do I have any moon math on Pulse? Not really, but I don't see why we can't do the same thing Hex has done. I mean, we got the genius founder behind it. That's all about the game theory. So, thanks, Brand. You're welcome. Currently all in Hex and enjoying the ride. Same here. With regards to liquid Hex for sale, what happens when nearly all of it becomes staked? Could there be a scenario where nobody can sell? I don't think that'll be the scenario. I mean, everyone always kind of has a different time frame and time horizon. I mean, we've seen a lot. We see it all the time with unstakes, right? People that can even unstake early and realize a whole bunch of interest. So there's always someone that wants to buy, someone that wants to sell, someone that wants to completely get out, someone that wants to go all the way in. I personally don't see such a thing happening. I mean, the demand for it is so valuable, though, that it could be like RG3 mentioned, where people are waiting for end stakes to realize that. So we'll kind of see. Good job, dude. Thanks. Thank you. Let's see. There is unstakes and interest every day. Yep. You mean nobody can buy? I don't think so. I think people will definitely be able to buy. There's always people, like I said, that are going to sell. I liked your stream. Have a good night. Hey, thank you. You too. Thanks for your time. This, I think someone's mentioned this before. Maybe it was you, but it's important. So the sapper, I hope you're doing well. If they say, have more than you show, speak less than you know. Good old Billy Shakespeare. Yeah, if you look at a lot of the millionaires and even some extremely rich people, the ones that are sometimes they're like unsuspecting, right? They're in shorts or like not super flashy clothes and things like this, and that's kind of how I'd probably see myself being, right? Is not flaunting it too much. There's just no need for me to do that. So, anyways, yeah, guys, I think that's pretty much it. I've got 2,500 hex and sacrifice $600 on day 3. How rich am I going to get? Depends on how long you hold for, right? So there's always liquid hex. Enjoy your day, Bran. See you again whenever. Sounds good. You too. I've got 0.038 T-shares locked for 15 years. Why is it better for longer stakes? Well, right now, that share that you have, you're going to have that same share for the length of your stake. As someone ends their stake, whatever length it is, when you stake, you're taking liquid hex, and in return, you're getting shares. But when you end stake, you're taking your shares, and those burn, and you're getting the hex. And so even if you get a lot more hex than before, the amount of shares that you try and buy back with the interest and things like that generally becomes harder over time because the cost of the shares only get more expensive. So when people, and that's cool that you have that, that's really good. When people end at 10 years, there's a lot of shares ending at 10 years. Well, if they want to buy back in, they're going to have to buy back in at that price of the shares, which is only going to be substantially more expensive, as opposed to someone like yourself that's going to still have those shares and be able to earn more interest as those bigger shares kind of exit the pool. So it's pretty much just your share of the inflation and rewards. So when the big people are staking less time than you, then you're going to have time on your advantage and your side. Mixed Mix, aka J Soul, says, take the time to properly participate whenever you enter. Most basic rules of the game have not been changed. Whenever you pay for most of all, whatever you pay for most of all, pay attention. Yeah, pay attention. Get yourself in the streams and the communities, things like that, and listen to the people that have been here for a while that are still here and educating people. Because there's a lot of people. If you ask some of those questions on Telegram, they'll try and private message you, and they'll try and take your money. There's a huge market for socially engineering people and getting their money. Yo, replay gang once I'm done work. I hope the video renders and that it's not too choppy for you. We'll fix that next time. Hope everyone's doing well. Hey, you too, man. Arte Suave Angelo. Bernard Conkian. Halo. Joel Flynn. Okay, thanks. Will OpenSea be compatible with PULSECHAin? That's a good question. I really don't know much about the NFTs. What I do know is that's something that they would have to do in the testnet, right? I don't think it would natively work. I think they might have to build a front end to work with that. They definitely could incorporate it, I believe. Mark Carroll says, I'm going to end the stream soon. We're sitting on this exercise ball for a long time, but he says, what do you lose if you end stake early? Well, it depends on how much time you've served, right? And later Goldie. So it depends on how much time you've served. So generally, if you had and you can go in the description of this and see the layman's guide that explains it, or just go to Staker.app and plug in your public address, which doesn't compromise your security. It just reads the data on the blockchain, but it'll tell you what your early end stake penalty would be. So it's based on the amount of time that you've served and how long the stake was, and just a couple of other things. So we'll kind of have to look into that. Staker.app, I think, might be the easiest way to get into that. Yeah, I'll do the intro when I leave in a second here. Yep, thank you. Let's see, what amount of hacks do you consider? I don't know how to answer that question. It's way too many factors. Let's see. It's not going to be possible to gatekeep Pulse. I agree. I mean, yeah, I agree. It literally is going to be impossible. And you have everyone getting an airdrop and people wanting it. You're not gonna be able to stop it. I mean, Mexicans they try to suppress, and that's just one community. But when you have all the ERC20s and not to mention all the NFTs, there's going to be a lot louder voices that weren't loud about Hex but are loud about it because it actually affects them. So how would tradable t-shirts actually work? Developer Kyle Rapid Prototrite on Twitter. He's got a YouTube channel called Try Hex. If you go on YouTube and type in bacon wrapped steaks, that's all you need to type. You'll find his channel. Sometimes YouTube channels are hard to find, but he's got a video talking about it. So yeah, that's it. We're over the 2-hour mark. That's kind of like my limit to cut it off. So we're gonna end it. Thanks everyone for bearing with the video and the technical difficulties. We'll try and fix that for the next one. But once again, appreciate how many people were watching. There was like 233 people that stayed consistently, and still have like 185. So I'm gonna do the intro as the outro, and then end the stream. So hope everyone has a great day. Take your security seriously. Listen to people that know what they're doing. Participate in the community. Share Richard's post. Share everyone else's posts. And if you have people that you're trying to tell about Hex or Pulse that aren't understanding what your points are or the things that you're making, then point them to someone that does. I mentioned that with Danny, that, hey, if you're having trouble onboarding people, well, point them towards my Hex Clips YouTube playlist. I've got over 286 something on my YouTube channel here. It's the one with the most amount of videos. So have a good day, everyone. I'll see you on Wednesday with Knights of the Crypto, and have a good time.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran.